Hello, welcome to HRM 210, Meetings and Events Planning. This week we're just going to be talking briefly about a few things, basic things about events and planning them and managing. Now, the book that we're using for this course is primarily a communications book, or written by communications instructors for those folks who are pursuing communication degrees with minoring in events planning. So there's quite a bit about the book that we're not going to use. So the first chapter, you're only going to be reading pages 1 through 10 this week, which speak directly about events, and it's a basic understanding of events and event planning. All right. So that's all I'm going to be talking about this week. Further weeks, excuse me, we might have longer videos, whether they're from me or the publisher does have some videos. Again, I might not be able to use all of those because they're really coming from a communications point of view. Not that any of that's bad, but it's more than what we need. Okay, the information's in there. If you're interested in communications, by all means, read it and study it on your own. But for this course, I'm going to bypass all that. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is nothing more than events. What is an event? Well, we all know what an event is, right? Event is something that happens. And that's pretty much the definition that the book has. It's a common occurrence, period. That's it. But we can further explain that with a common occurrence or common occurrences that are held in person, virtually, or a hybrid of both, within various cultures and societies gathering or generating revenue and jobs in the economy and producing some type of outcome. Okay, that's a lot going on there, and that's specifically about the type of events we're going to be talking about. They're going to be generating some kind of revenue, whether it's directly to the people who are putting in the event, or it might be a charity event where it's generating revenue to the sponsors of the event or whatever. But revenue is generally going to be generated, right? This is a very modern take on events, right? Because it says virtual events or a hybrid. And, even before COVID, virtual events were not common, but around. Now they're much more common. During COVID, they were extremely common. And one of the lasting byproducts of COVID is the fact that people realized that they were effective. So people continue to use them. All right. So what are some types of events? Well, we can break them down into 3 different categories as business, social, and other. All right. And we'll give some examples of each type. For business, you got board meetings, you got business dinners, career fairs, conferences, conventions, corporate retreats, expos and expositions, networking events like job fairs, press conferences, product launches, sales meetings, seminars, shareholder meetings, and trade shows. Something as simple as just a regular board meeting or a shareholder meeting can be an event because it could be at a venue, it could be combined with some kind of activity for recreational for those folks who are on the board or whatever, or just a meeting, period. When I was in one situation where I was at, we had weekly meetings and we had offices all over a large geographical location. And we had all those people come together once a month. And it was always an event, but generally speaking, it was at the headquarters. But sometimes once or twice a year, it was at some kind of resort or something like that, where it was combined with an activity of recreation and as a reward for the hard work that we all did. So that's still a business event. Okay, so then we have social events. Anniversaries, birthdays, baby showers, bachelor parties, bridal showers, cocktail parties, holiday parties, concerts, dinners, family reunions, funerals, religious ceremonies, theme parties, weddings, anything you can think of, right? Generally speaking, for this course, though, some of those more common ones like birthday parties or anniversaries or something, we're not talking about, well, we would be, but the ones that, individuals plan for themselves in their backyard, I mean, those are still events and they're still important to them. But for the purpose of this course, we're going to be learning more about the ones that are larger, where it requires some kind of venue being rented or something like that. It requires an event planner, basically. All right. And then other could be award ceremonies, banquets, charities, gatherings. Charity gatherings are big. I've worked a lot of catering, and probably half of the big ones were charity type things. Um, Fashion shows, festivals, fundraisers, galas, graduations, opening ceremonies, receptions, retreats, sporting events, and tournaments and workshops. And some of those can be more on the business side as well, right? So that's the different types of events. So let's talk about event planning. Event planning is a communicative process whereby whoa, whereby a person creates and coordinates the celebration of an occasion or forms a gathering of a specific venue, online site, or combination of both. Um, where attendees can learn, socialize, conduct business, and or serve the community. Those who attend the event are typically a specific purpose that can coincides with the overall outcome of the goal and event. All right. And definition of event management. Event management is an industry that focuses on the management side of the event, coordinating and implementing the event, focusing on demographics, economics, technology, culture, venue, values, legal matters, strategic development, and ecological factors or features. All right, so the curriculum here separates event planning from event management, but a lot of times, unless we're talking about huge things, it's the same people doing it all. All right, so those of you who want to be event planners, you may do some quite more event managing than you do event planning, and that's okay. It all works out. All right, so let's talk about the process. The event planning process. You start out with a vision, right? Just like anything else. You have to have an idea. You have to have a purpose, right? Then you do your research. Find out what is needed, what all the different details, what's available. Then you take all that information and you start to plan. Then you implement it. You create the event. Then you execute the event, right? If to implement, step 4 include executing the event, having the event. And then you would evaluate. Evaluating is very important. Never in your professional lives work on something so intently, right? An event or something, and then once it's over, just forget about it, all right? That you're missing such a great opportunity for your personal self-development, professional development, and for preparing for the future, for the next one. It's really convenient when you're a caterer or something like that, when you're doing an event, that when you can call upon past ones and the lessons learned from those past events to help you with the new ones. And you can adapt. You don't want to over rely on it, but sometimes you can adapt parts. The things that were hugely successful, you want to try to adapt to the new event, and those things that were hugely bad, you want to avoid completely, right? Or adapt to the point where they're no longer bad, hopefully. All right. So that was a real quick down and dirty for this week. Again, future weeks are going to have longer periods of instruction, whether it's from me or from the authors of the book. Okay? Have a good week. Welcome to the course. This course revolves around the project. It's a pretty involved project. It should be pretty interesting, and a good amount of your learning will come from the execution of that project. So let's have a great semester. Thanks for watching.